The galactic hegemony existed for over 12,000 years, a vast coalition of species that ruled most of the known galaxy. When their long-range sensors detected radio signals from a small blue-green planet near the galactic rim, they followed standard protocol: send a diplomatic team, assess the new species, and determine if they should be welcomed into the fold or contained. Ambassador Tech, a tall, gray-skinned Voldari with 4 arms and eyes that shimmered like polished obsidian, led the mission. He had overseen 17 first contacts in his long career. Each had ended with the new species accepting their place in the hegemony's carefully ordered universe. "Another primitive world," Tech said as their sleek silver ship approached Earth. "Their technology is crude. They've barely left their own system." His assistant, Liar, nodded in agreement. "The Council expects no difficulties. The humans should be grateful for our guidance." When the alien ship appeared in Earth's sky, humanity reacted with wonder rather than fear. Leaders from all nations gathered at the United Space Administration headquarters to prepare for humanity's first encounter with alien life. Captain June stood at attention beside General Park as they waited for the alien delegation. As head of Earth's modest defense fleet, June felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "We show strength through peace," General Park reminded him. "But remain alert." The aliens emerged from their shuttle in a cloud of sweet-smelling mist, a standard decontamination procedure they didn't bother explaining to the humans. Ambassador Tech stepped forward, his metallic translator pendant glinting in Earth's sunlight. "We bring greetings from the galactic hegemony," the device translated in a flat, mechanical voice. "Your species has been observed and deemed ready for initial contact." Earth's Secretary General stepped forward with a warm smile. "We welcome you to Earth and look forward to peaceful exchange between our worlds." The first day of talks seemed to go well. The aliens shared limited information about the galaxy, while humans enthusiastically offered details about Earth culture and history. Ambassador Tech noted how freely the humans shared information, a sign of naivety, in his view. That evening, at a formal dinner held in the aliens' honor, Captain June approached Ambassador Tech. Following an ancient Earth tradition to honor distinguished visitors, he presented his ceremonial naval dagger, hilt first, as a gift. "A symbol of respect from Earth's defenders to our new friends among the stars," June said with a deep bow. The room fell silent as Tech's 4 arms stiffened. In Voldari culture, presenting a weapon was the gravest of challenges, a declaration of territorial dispute that could only end in blood. "You dare?" Tech's translator crackled with emotion that the flat voice couldn't convey. His assistants quickly moved between their ambassador and the human. Captain June stepped back, confused. "I meant no offense. This is a gift, a token of respect." But the damage was done. The alien delegation departed abruptly, returning to their ship without explanation. Frantic messages from Earth went unanswered for 3 days. When the response finally came, it was addressed not to Earth's leaders but to its military command. "The hegemony has determined humans to be unstable and potentially hostile. Your attempt to intimidate diplomatic personnel is noted. A security fleet approaches your system to establish appropriate boundaries for your species." General Park called an emergency meeting. "What exactly happened?" she demanded. Captain June explained the gift ceremony. A xenolinguist in the room groaned. "Different cultures, different meanings. You accidentally challenged them to a fight." Within a week, hegemony ships appeared near Jupiter's orbit, sleek, predatory vessels that dwarfed Earth's largest ships. Their message was simple: accept hegemony authority and supervision, or face consequences. Earth's united defense fleet scrambled to respond. Though outnumbered and outgunned, the human ships formed a defensive screen, using Jupiter's moons and rings in ways the aliens found perplexing. Admiral Tay, commanding from Earth's orbital station, sent her response: "We hope for friendship. We're prepared for alternatives." The aliens expected surrender or a suicidal frontal assault. Instead, the humans used unusual formations, breaking into smaller units that the hegemony's targeting system struggled to track against the background of Jupiter's radiation belts. When the first shots were fired, the hegemony expected a short engagement. 3 hours later, they retreated in confusion, having lost 2 scout ships while inflicting minimal damage on the human fleet. These creatures fight strangely, the hegemony commander reported. They do not follow proper battle protocols. They use their environment as a weapon. As the aliens regrouped, Earth prepared for war. In the Mars shipyards, the final systems came online aboard humanity's most advanced warship, the HMS Indomitable. Its captain, a woman named Sue, watched the reports from Jupiter with grim determination. The hegemony thinks they know war, she told her crew. They're about to learn how much they don't know. Captain Sue stood on the bridge of the HMS Indomitable, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the recent battle near Jupiter. At 43, she was younger than most ship captains, but her tactical brilliance had earned her command of humanity's newest and most advanced warship. "Atlas, show me the hegemony attack patterns again," she ordered. The ship's artificial intelligence responded immediately. "Of course, Captain." The hologram shifted, highlighting the alien vessel's movements in red. "They fight like they're following a script," Sue muttered to herself. The HMS Indomitable was unlike any ship ever built by human hands. At 1.8 kilometers long, its sleek black hull absorbed rather than reflected light, making it difficult to track on visual sensors. But size wasn't what made the Indomitable special. "Ship status?" Sue asked, pacing the circular bridge. "All systems at 97% efficiency," Atlas replied. "The new adaptive defense grid is fully operational. Weapons systems are primed. Medical bay is stocked for 78% of possible alien biology scenarios." Lieutenant Commander Hyun approached with a tablet in hand. At 35, he was the ship's tactical officer, recruited specifically for his unconventional thinking. "Captain, I've analyzed the Jupiter engagement," he said. "The hegemony ships maintain perfect formation even when it's not tactically sound. They value order over adaptation." Sue nodded. "A weakness we can exploit." Chief Engineer Jean entered the bridge, her uniform showing signs of the long hours she'd spent in the engine room. At 52, she had personally designed many of the Indomitable's revolutionary systems. "The power distribution network is ready," Jean reported. "We can redirect energy between systems in milliseconds. No other ship in the fleet has this capability." The Indomitable wasn't just built for combat. Its design reflected humanity's evolution as adaptable survivors on a dangerous planet. Where alien ships specialized, the human vessel carried redundant systems and the ability to reconfigure itself based on the situation. "Captain, incoming transmission from Earth Command," the communications officer announced. Admiral Park's face appeared on the main screen. Her expression was grave. "Captain Sue, we've detected a large hegemony fleet entering the system. They're headed for Proxima Centauri, our colony." Sue's face hardened. New Eden colony housed 12,000 civilians with minimal defenses. "The Indomitable will intercept them," she declared. "You'll be outnumbered at least 5-1, the Admiral warned. "Numbers don't win battles," Sue replied. "We'll be ready." After the transmission ended, Sue addressed her crew of 1,200 Earth's finest engineers, scientists, and soldiers. "The hegemony thinks humans are primitive because we're new to space," she said, her voice carrying throughout the ship. "They don't understand what shaped us. On Earth, we evolved as persistence predators. We didn't have to be the strongest or fastest, just the most adaptable. The most determined." She pointed to the tactical display showing the hegemony fleet. "Their technology may be more advanced, but they've had peace for too long. They've forgotten how to truly fight. We haven't." The crew quarters buzzed with activity as personnel prepared for battle. Unlike the rigid hierarchy of hegemony vessels, the Indomitable encouraged innovation from every crew member. In the weapons bay, technicians loaded specially designed missiles that could reconfigure their targeting parameters mid-flight. In engineering, Jin's team fine-tuned the revolutionary flash shift system that could redirect power instantly to weapons, shields, or engines as needed. Dr. Han prepared the medical bay, studying the limited data on hegemony biology. "If we take prisoners, we need to be ready," he explained to his staff. In the tactical room, Lieutenant Commander Hyun ran battle simulations with his team. The hegemony expects us to fight according to their rules, he told them. We won't. On the bridge, Captain Sue reviewed the final preparations with Atlas. All personnel at battle stations, the AI reported. Jump coordinates to Proxima Centauri calculated. Sue took her command chair, her face calm but determined. The hegemony has existed for 12,000 years, she said to her bridge crew. In that time, they've developed rigid patterns for everything, including war. They see battle as an extension of politics, orderly, predictable. She touched at control, bringing up images of Earth's history, ancient warriors, modern soldiers, the conflicts that had shaped human development. We see war differently. For us, it's chaos embraced and directed. It's adaptation. It's survival at any cost. The massive engines of the Indomitable hummed to life, the sound vibrating through the ship's frame. Jump in 30 seconds, Atlas announced. Captain Sue's eyes narrowed as she gave the order that would send her ship against an enemy fleet many times its size. Take us to New Eden, she commanded. Let's show the hegemony what humans know about war. The stars blurred around the HMS Indomitable as it leaped through space, carrying humanity's best hope against an enemy that had never known defeat until now. The hegemony fleet arrived at Proxima Centauri with 30 warships arranged in perfect formation. Their commander, Admiral Draz, viewed the small human colony on his display screen with satisfaction. New Eden was humanity's first and only extrasolar settlement, home to 12,000 civilians protected by a handful of defense satellites. Begin standard conquest protocol, Draz ordered. His species resembled tall, thin humanoids with iridescent scales and elongated skulls. Like all hegemony commanders, he had memorized the ancient battle doctrines their civilization had followed for millennia. The colony detected the alien fleet and immediately began emergency evacuations. Panic spread through the streets as families rushed to the handful of transport ships available. Colony Governor Lee sent desperate messages to Earth, knowing help would take days to arrive. We need at least 48 hours to evacuate everyone, she told her staff. We have maybe 3 hours before they reach firing range. What no one expected was the sudden energy signature that appeared behind Proxima Centauri's red dwarf star. The HMS Indomitable emerged from its jump point, engines already at maximum thrust. On the bridge, Captain Sue took in the tactical display with calm focus. Atlas, full scan of enemy fleet. 30 vessels detected, the AI responded. 22 destroyers, 6 cruisers, 2 command carriers. Lieutenant Commander Hyun studied the enemy formation. They're maintaining textbook approach vectors. No adaptation for the star's radiation field. Captain Sue nodded. They don't think they need to adapt. Implement Battle Plan Theta. Draz laughed when he saw the scan data. One ship? Their arrogance is remarkable. It's accelerating directly toward our formation, the officer added with confusion. Let them come, Draz replied. We will show them the futility of resistance. The Indomitable's course puzzled the hegemony tacticians. The human ship was accelerating at maximum thrust directly toward the center of their formation, a suicide run by any logical assessment. They mean to ram us? Draz wondered aloud. Primitive indeed. As the distance closed, the Indomitable suddenly released what appeared to be mining charges, simple explosive devices that the hegemony ships easily avoided with minimal course corrections. Their weapons are as primitive as their tactics, Draz said with contempt. On the Indomitable's bridge, Sue watched the hegemony ships adjust their positions exactly as predicted. They're so predictable, she said. Atlas, detonate the EMP packages. The devices didn't explode with destructive force. Instead, they released precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses matched to the shield frequencies the humans had recorded during the Jupiter skirmish. 6 hegemony ships suddenly lost power, their systems overloaded by the unexpected attack. What's happening? Draz demanded as reports of disabled ships flooded in. Before the hegemony fleet could recalibrate their shields, the Indomitable executed a maneuver that defied the aliens' understanding of physics. The massive ship flipped end over end while maintaining its forward momentum, bringing its main weapons to bear while presenting a minimal target profile.
Firing solutions calculated, Hyun announced calmly.
The Indomitable's kinetic drivers launched projectiles at a fraction of light speed, precisely targeting the propulsion systems of the nearest hegemony cruiser.
The impact tore through the alien vessel's rear section, leaving it adrift but intact.
Target their weapons next, Captain Sue ordered.
Disable, don't destroy.
The hegemony fleet struggled to respond. Their battle doctrine called for formation adjustments that were now impossible with disabled ships disrupting their carefully maintained patterns.
They're not following any known tactical protocol, a hegemony officer reported with growing alarm.
They're targeting specific systems rather than attempting to destroy our vessels. As the battle continued, the Indomitable seemed to be everywhere at once, its flash shift power system allowing it to divert all energy to engines for rapid maneuvers, then instantly switch to weapons or shields as needed. Chief Engineer Jean worked frantically in engineering, manually overriding safety protocols to push the ship beyond its design specifications. The power core is running hot, she reported. But she'll hold. 3 hours into the battle, 7 hegemony ships had been destroyed, those that had threatened the colony directly. While 16 more drifted powerless, their weapons and engines disabled but life support intact.
Admiral Drez watched in disbelief as his fleet was systematically dismantled by a single human vessel.
This defies all military logic, he whispered.
The remaining hegemony ships regrouped and prepared a final, desperate assault.
They launched simultaneously, weapons at maximum power.
Captain Sue had anticipated this. Atlas, deploy countermeasures pattern Echo.
The Indomitable released clouds of reflective particles that scattered the enemy's energy weapons while absorbing kinetic projectiles. Through this protective shroud, the human ship launched its remaining missiles, each one targeting the propulsion systems of the attacking vessels. As the last hegemony ship lost power, Admiral Drez sent a message across all frequencies, "What manner of beings are you?" The response came from Captain Sue herself, "We are human. Remember that." The colony was saved. As the Indomitable positioned itself between New Eden and the disabled hegemony fleet, Governor Lee sent a message of profound gratitude. Captain Sue's reply was simple: "We protect our own." The Galactic Hegemony Council chamber had never felt so tense.
12 representatives from the founding species sat in shocked silence as they reviewed the battle footage from Proxima Centauri. The defeat was unprecedented, a single human vessel had disabled an entire fleet. Elder Zal, oldest of the council members, spoke first.
His crystalline body glimmered in the soft light as he addressed his peers.
"In 12,000 years, no species has defeated a hegemony battle group," he said.
Yet these humans, with their primitive technology, have done exactly that.
Counselor Vax slammed all 6 of her appendages on the table. "How did they know our shield frequencies? This is impossible."
"That is not the most disturbing question," Elder Zal replied.
"Why did they spare our disabled ships? They could have destroyed them all."
This behavior confused the council deeply.
In their understanding of warfare, showing mercy to a defeated enemy was unthinkable. Victory meant total elimination of opposition. Yet the humans had deliberately chosen to disable rather than destroy. "We must understand these creatures," Elder Zal decided. "Begin a comprehensive study of human history immediately."
3 days later, the council reconvened to hear the findings.
The chief xenobiologist, a tall, slender being named Rill, seemed visibly unsettled as she prepared to present.
"Honored Council, what we have discovered about humans is troubling," she began. "These creatures evolved on what we would classify as a death world, a planet with extreme environmental challenges and numerous apex predators." She displayed images of Earth's history, ancient warriors with primitive weapons, modern soldiers with firearms, the progression of human conflict through the ages.
"Their entire history is an unbroken chain of warfare," Rill continued.
"They fight each other constantly over resources, beliefs, territory, even abstract concepts like honor or ideology."
Counselor Vex nodded. "So they are simply violent by nature. This confirms we must eliminate them quickly." "That would be the logical conclusion," Rill agreed. "Except for this."
The display changed to show images of former enemies shaking hands, signing peace treaties, rebuilding cities together.
Humans fight, destroy, then help rebuild what they destroyed, Rill explained.
They wage war with terrible efficiency, then extend friendship to their defeated enemies. There is no pattern we can discern in when they choose violence and when they choose peace. The council chambers erupted in confused discussion.
Such behavior made no sense in their orderly understanding of the universe.
Meanwhile, reports arrived from border outposts, human ships appearing at the edges of hegemony space, observing, then disappearing before they could be engaged.
The psychological impact on hegemony worlds was devastating.
Species that had known only safety under the Council's protection began to experience fear.
They're testing our defenses, Counselor Vex insisted.
Preparing for a full invasion.
Perhaps, Elder Zal said thoughtfully.
But consider this intercepted transmission. The Council viewed a recording of Captain Sue speaking with Earth Command.
She had been offered leadership of a large fleet to press their advantage against the hegemony. Her response surprised them all.
With respect, Admiral, I decline the fleet command, Captain Sue said in the recording. The Indomitable should return to Proxima not as part of an attack force, but as an escort for a diplomatic mission. We've shown them our strength. Now we should offer them peace. The Council sat in stunned silence. They switched from war to peace instantly, noted a cultural analyst who had been invited to the session. In one moment they fight with unmatched ferocity, in the next they extend friendship. Reports continued to arrive from across hegemony space, human vessels appearing without warning, simply watching, then vanishing.
No attacks, no demands, just their presence as a reminder of what had happened at Proxima Centauri. They're waging psychological warfare, Counselor Vex declared. We cannot show weakness.
The Council voted to begin construction of their ultimate weapon, the Worldbreaker. This planet-destroying technology had been used only twice in hegemony history, during ancient rebellions.
If these humans want war, we will show them true power, Vex proclaimed.
Elder Zal remained troubled. I am not convinced this is the correct approach.
These humans operate outside our understanding of warfare. They do not follow the ancient patterns. On board the Indomitable, now repaired and patrolling near Proxima Centauri, Captain Sue reviewed intelligence reports with Lieutenant Commander Hyun. The hegemony is building something massive, Hyun said, showing her the surveillance data. Our analysts believe it's a superweapon. Captain Sue nodded grimly. They still don't understand us. They think if they build a bigger weapon, we'll surrender in fear. What will we do? Hyun asked.
We'll do what humans have always done when faced with superior force, Sue replied.
We'll adapt. We'll find a way to survive. She looked at the star chart showing the hegemony's vast territory compared to humanity's small corner of the galaxy.
But first, we'll give them one more chance at peace, she added.
Because that's also what humans do.
As she spoke, Earth's leadership was already forming a daring plan, one that would either establish humanity's place among the stars or lead to their destruction. The hegemony Grand Armada gathered near the dead world of Kalthos Prime, 10,000 ships arranged in perfect geometric patterns. At the center of this vast formation floated the Worldbreaker, a weapon so terrible it had been used only twice in the hegemony's long history. The massive device resembled a small moon with a gaping maw that could focus enough energy to crack a planet's crust. Elder Zal stood on the command deck of the flagship, watching the final preparations with growing unease. Despite voting against this course of action, he had come to witness what might be the final chapter in humanity's brief history among the stars.
The weapon will be ready to deploy in 6 hours, Admiral Grav reported.
Earth will be our first target. Elder Zal nodded without speaking. The Council had decided humans were too unpredictable, too dangerous to exist within the carefully ordered galaxy.
Alarm klaxons suddenly blared across the command deck. Energy signature detected, an officer shouted. A ship has jumped directly into the formation.
On the main display, a familiar black shape appeared. The HMS Indomitable had materialized in the very heart of the hegemony fleet, less than 1,000 kilometers from the Worldbreaker itself.
Destroy it immediately, Admiral Grav ordered. Wait, Elder Zal commanded, his authority overriding the Admiral's.
They must know they cannot survive against our entire fleet.
Why come here alone? Before weapons could lock onto the human vessel, a transmission spread across every communication channel in the fleet. Captain Su's face appeared on screens throughout the armada. "This is Captain Su of the HMS Indomitable. We know about the World Breaker. We know what you intend. But before this escalates further, there's something you need to see." The transmission shifted to images from Earth's history, terrible wars followed by handshakes between former enemies, cities rising from ashes, former battlefields transformed into memorials and parks. "We understand war better than you ever will," Captain Su's voice continued, "because we've fought ourselves more than anyone else. We know its cost. We choose peace whenever possible, not from weakness, but from wisdom." Elders all watched, transfixed by these scenes so alien to hegemony experience. In their ordered society, conflict was rare and ritualized. They had never experienced the brutal, chaotic warfare that had shaped humanity. "If you deploy your weapon against any human world," Captain Su continued, "what happens next will be unlike anything in your history. Not because we desire your destruction, but because we will do whatever necessary to survive." The transmission shifted again, showing something that made even Elder Zal's crystalline form shudder: a fleet of human ships, far larger than anyone had believed possible, waiting at strategic points throughout hegemony space. They had been there for days, undetected by hegemony sensors. "We are giving you this one chance to choose another path," Captain Su finished. For 3 tense hours, the Indomitable sat motionless amid the hegemony fleet, weapons armed but not targeting, shields at maximum. The human vessel was completely surrounded, yet showed no fear. In the hegemony flagship's private council chamber, Elder Zal argued passionately with Admiral Grav and other military leaders. "They could have struck first," Zal insisted. "Their ships are already in position throughout our territory. Yet they came here, alone, to talk." "It's a trick," Admiral Grav countered. "They cannot possibly threaten our entire civilization." "Cannot they?" Zal asked quietly. "They defeated our fleet at Proxima with a single ship because they think differently than we do. What might they accomplish with hundreds?" After hours of debate, Elder Zal approached the communication terminal himself. His decision would likely end his long career on the council, but he could see what the others could not: that the hegemony faced something truly new. "Captain Su, this is Elder Zal of the Hegemony Council," he transmitted. "Your perspective intrigues us. Perhaps there is much we do not understand about humans." 6 months later, Captain Su stood in the Great Hall of the Hegemony Council as representatives from both civilizations signed the first Human Hegemony Cooperation Treaty. The ceremony took place aboard the indomitable neutral ground that symbolized both the threat and promise that humanity represented. Elder Zal approached Captain Su after the formal proceedings. "You could have struck first," he said quietly. "Your intelligence on our capabilities was accurate. You might have won." Captain Su nodded. "Winning a war is easy. Building something after, that's the real challenge." Elder Zal's crystalline form shifted in what humans had learned was an expression of deep thought. "Your species confuses us," he admitted. "You prepare for war with remarkable skill, yet you seek peace with equal determination." "It's because we know war too well," Su explained. "We've spent thousands of years fighting each other. We've learned that strength isn't just about winning battles, it's about knowing when not to fight them." As species from across the galaxy watched the proceedings, many with fear and trepidation, one thing became clear: the hegemony had encountered something entirely new. Not just a species that understood war, but one that understood why to avoid it when possible. Humanity had earned their place among the stars, not despite their capacity for violence, but because they had learned to channel it into protecting what they valued most: the hope for something better.